Good morning. Class, or 79 baseball team, stand up and be recognized, guys. So, who's this 1979 baseball team? And how did we achieve greatness? First, this team was a team. Did we have really great talent? We had great talent, but everybody talks about the snow. I think home plate was over here, right? But we practiced more in this gym than we did outside. And what I'll say is, that built character, toughness, which has lasted a lifetime for all of us. But this team was a bunch of overachievers. In 1978, we went to the College World Series. Extremely happy to be there. We had a great time, played two, and went home. A lot of underclassmen on that team. We vowed as a team, we're going back next year, we're going to win this thing. Unfortunately, we fell one game short, 3 big wins, flip of a coin, put Florida Southern in the final. We had to play Valdosta. Valdosta beat us in the semifinals. Valdosta won the national championship. So I think we should have been number 2. What do you think? Not number 3. Several of us have gone on to have successful careers after baseball. We're thankful for our Jesuit education, values that are taught and play into our lives every day. We also want to thank Dick Rockwell. And for all of us, I'll say, Dick was that father figure. You turned boys into men, and there's no doubt about it. And for that, all that, every guy in this team, extremely thankful. I'm sure every baseball player in Moyne, extremely thankful. Also, the late Father John J. O'Brien, who was always an inspiration on the bench for us. I'm very thankful for him. So with that, I want to thank our families, friends, all the people that supported us. And thank you for this prestigious award. And I'm going to turn it over to Steve Hammer Helmer.
You've heard enough about the ball team on the field. I want to talk a little bit about the off-the-field experience, which was so special for all of us that played on this team. It all starts with Dick Rockwell. We all know that. There was a culture that he built. If you didn't perform on the field, then you were marked down as KP. Can't play. You really had to perform. And there was someone behind you waiting to take your spot. And they wanted to play too. So we had a culture of excellence that started with that attitude. It was really a professional attitude that Dick brought to the field. There were the people before us that showed us how to play the game. I'm glad to hear that Sandy Spadafore's name was mentioned, because he and the group ahead of us, the Russos, Mike Murphy, all of them, they built the foundation that we were able to stand on and move this team to a standard of excellence that the teams behind us were able to meet and keep going. And we had other things that were so important, and some of these things sound trivial, but we had dress codes. Now when I started, we had to wear a shirt and a tie on the road. Now that turned into bandline and slacks. I didn't know what a bandline was. I looked around in the bus, I said, we're gonna have bandlines. What is a bandline? Well, I thought it was a sports shirt. I didn't know. But when that moved, that was a big change in our dress code. But then there was the other things. We maintained the field. The first day we showed up as freshmen, Johnny Levani reminded me of this last night. Dick said, I want all the freshman infielders over here. We thought we were gonna get a speech. He goes, go pick the rocks off the field. That's what we did. The rookies carried the gear for the older players. We had traditions. We'd come home on a bus after a win or a loss, usually a win, but somebody did something stupid or made a bad play. So we sang a song. Bill Bailey, won't you please come home? You commit a Bailey if you said something stupid or made a bad play. And the band would stand up, we made the play, and we'd sing to him. Sounds silly? We thought it was great. We had those endless bus and van trips where you'd be somewhere in who knows where, Pennsylvania, trying to get home, usually snowing. We went south to play, bored to tears. Someone would say, somebody stick that Kukas tape in the tape deck. And that was where Matt West would step in and he would sing songs to us all the way home, a jukebox full of songs. Those were great times. You got to be very close to people when you did stuff like that. Hey, we moved to the big time. We got to go to Myrtle Beach twice. Big deal in March. Pretty cold still. But we stayed at a place called The Deck. Kind of a dump, but they liked us. And we'd sneak off every night when Coach went to bed. I shouldn't tell this story, we're probably gonna get in trouble. But we'd sneak down to a place called the Bowery. And the Bowery was an old-time Southern joint, juke joint. And the band, the house band, was Alabama, which went on to win all sorts of Grammys and was very, very popular. At the time, they were just a bunch of guys just playing redneck music. And then we got our mugs of beer from a guy named what was his name? Don't Cry Joe. Don't Cry Joe. We'd stretch with Dr. J on the beach. That was a big deal. Those are some silly looking photographs, by the way. Us standing out there on the beach in our uniforms, stretching with Dr. J. And all the practical jokes we played on each other, they were all just wonderful. And then, of course, just a couple things I gotta mention on the field. You know, we had a rival in New Haven that was really a tremendous team, full of ball players that went on to professional baseball. And in 1977, we were playing in Griffin Field. Fletch, you know where this is going. And it's double elimination, and they're kicking our tails. And Fletch is on the mound, and Rock's got to leave him there because he can't burn up pitchers. So Tom actually sets an NCAA record, gives up 13 runs in an inning. Not so hot. Still a record. And a guy named Bob Tercio hit a ball I think it's still up in the air somewhere. It hasn't come down yet. Well, one of the sweetest things in our whole career was 2 years later in the College World Series. And we're facing that same team, and Tom's on the mound, and he beats them 3-2 for the third place finish in the College World Series. That was so sweet. And then I got to mention a couple of things that also remind me. We've been talking about things for 24 hours. It sounds like we've been left to school. We're just so close, so tight. Joe Bone comes from Memphis, Tennessee. Mike Jr. comes from Chicago, Illinois. You'd think that we were all just left here yesterday. It was amazing. But it all runs back to Rock, and we all were privileged to come here. You know, kids from Morrisville, Liverpool, Comac, and we all ended up being here. And we're all so close. It's Rock that really put us all together somehow. But I have to steal one little thing from Dave Mackay's Hall of Fame speech as I close. Dave was a inductee maybe 10, 12 years ago. Dave? Something like that. And baseball is a great game because there's a lot of time on your hands in the dugouts and stuff, and everybody got a nickname. Everybody got a nickname. And Dave listed our nicknames then, and I'm going to do it now because I think everybody knows who they are, and they'll enjoy hearing their nicknames again. Here we go. Gapper, Slick, Skip. Wheels, Showboat, Wolfman. Chaz, Toot, Nard. Nietzsche, Therm, Fletch. Cesar, Omar, Long Island Lou. Kel, Vec, Hammer, Therm. Bart, Spotty, Skippy Head, Gookus, Shady, Scav, T-Bone, Gubbone. Skeeter, Beaver, Big Fen, G-Man, Dunner, Sagi, Ace, Taz, Skewney, Sweet, Horse, Shaggy. And more importantly, I want to mention two guys that aren't with us anymore. Johnny Hot Rod Hundley and Mike Little Fennel. And I'll close with an announcement. We have a team photo coming up, but more importantly, Coach Rockwell wants a team meeting. You see, some things don't change. Last night, Therm, Fletch, Big Fen, they broke curfew. So I think he's going to make us run laps again. So we'll see you afterwards for the team photo and the team meeting. Thank you.